What's up, everybody? Caleb here with GamerFaith.com, joined by little bro Sam, yeah. And we are here doing Matthew 7 this time around.
Matthew 7.
So we're going to jump right in here to this good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right. Matthew 7, verse 1. This is ESV. By the way, as I always say, listen to what God in the Bible says, not me. I'm just a regular old man. So, but old man. Anyways, you know what I mean. Hopefully, if not, message me. Matthew 7, verse 1 ESV. Judge not that you not be judged, or that you be not judged. For with the judgment you pronounce, you will be judged, and with the measure you use it will be measured to you. Now, this doesn't mean, I don't think, that we have to be okay with sin. Right. You know what I mean? In somebody else's life. But having the mentality that, oh, you are worse than me because you have this sin, I would say that's more or less a judging attitude, because we're all sinners. So if you're belittling other people thinking that you are, you know, a bigger, better person and not sympathetic, like, we're all sinners and we all deserve judgment. So it's not our position to judge in that way.
The ultimate judge is God.
Right.
And, you know, he who has never sinned may cast the first stone.
Yeah.
The whole situation.
Right, exactly. It doesn't mean that that sin is okay though, or that we are without sin or anything like that. It means essentially exactly that we are with sin. So be careful how you judge. At least that's how I feel. Yeah. How I think.
Yeah.
Food for thought.
Cottage cheese.
Had that for lunch. So did you. Why do you see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but do not notice the log that is in your own eye? Thanks for the interpretive dance. Or how can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye when there is a log in your own eye? You hypocrite, first take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. So, once again,
we're all at fault with sin. So we've all got something in our eye.
Yeah.
Is, you know, how it goes. So we don't have the right to go and, like, take things out of other people's eyes or judge them.
Right. And we're here to, you know, we need to love people, show people God's love. And that doesn't mean ignoring sin or making them, how do I say this, putting up with their sin as if it was okay, because that's not really loving somebody. If you really believe what the Bible says, then you believe that that's a snare that's not going to make them happy. But there's an attitude of love in which you can approach this thing, and an attitude of humility, understanding that we're all sinners. And then there's an attitude of thinking that you are at the top and then looking down on people kind of spitefully.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
You want to read a few?
Sure.
You're up a bit, I think. Or no, you're not. Never mind.
Okay. Do not give dogs what is holy, and do not throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. Is it? Keep going. Okay.
That's a really interesting verse. It's hard to, if you don't understand that one, man, that's a complicated verse. You have anything to say about that?
I mean, I agree that it's kind of complicated and it's hard for me to decipher, like,
what exactly
is being said.
Yeah, what exactly is being thrown out there? I believe, from what I've looked up, it seems that people are saying, for example, there are people that you can share your wisdom with and share the gospel with, and it will change their heart, and it will be, a good thing that you did that. But then there's other times where even if you are arguing the truth or stating the truth, it is not going to, at that given time, do anything other than cause you to be attacked, and they're not going to think anything of it. You know what I mean? They're hardened and blinded to what is being said.
Right. Their hearts are to the point where they're not going to listen, at least at that moment. And that's what I was thinking of. It's a good way to describe this verse, because that's what I started thinking of, is like sharing your wisdom with the fool, as we call it.
Yeah. And that doesn't, there are perfectly good times to share your pearls, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, leave a comment below if you know more about this verse, and go ahead and look that up. If you go to the Blue Letter Bible website and go to Matthew 7 verse 6, under the tools there's probably commentary on that with a lot of people, saying more about that verse.
Mm-hmm.
But all right,
okay,
go for it.
Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks it will be opened. Or which one of you, if his son asks him for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will give him a serpent? If you then, who are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who seek him?
To those who ask him.
Right.
Yeah.
Letters. I can't see.
Letters, those tough things. So, yeah. Pretty straightforward, I think. I'm sure there's deeper stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Seek out God and continue to pursue him each day and follow his word.
And he knows how to give good gifts. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're in kind of a goofy mood.
It's the cottage cheese.
Yeah. All right, Matthew 7:12. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. For this is the law and the prophets. It's the golden rule right there.
Yep.
And you really keep this in mind. Really keep this verse in mind, Matthew 7:12, and it will change the way that you behave so frequently. This comes up so often, and this can be hard to do, and most people probably don't do this. But there's a weird noise coming from outside. Can you guys hear that? Sounds like birds or something.
Squeaky bicycle.
But like gossiping, for example, or talking about somebody behind their back. I hate it when people talk behind my back.
Mm-hmm.
So keeping in mind not to do this,
right.
Myself, it can be tough to follow through with that, but it's super important, and it will be really helpful for your growth.
Yeah.
I believe if you keep on that.
Mm-hmm. Letting this come to your mind before you open your mouth.
Yeah.
Is a solid way to be.
In general, let the word come to your mind before you open your mouth is a good rule to follow. Enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, and those who enter by it are many. It's true. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. So right there, for those of you that may believe that like the path is easier when you're a Christian, it's not the easy path.
No.
It's narrow.
Because like we've been talking about, like things in here, a lot of it goes deeper than the surface, like the issue at the heart, which is harder to handle there than on the surface, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah. Well, the surface level, you can do things to be legalistic on the surface, but it does nothing for the condition of your heart. Really, like working on letting God change the condition of your heart is like you have to humble yourself, and ultimately you'll have more joy and have more purpose. But it isn't because your path will necessarily be easier. It may be, more focused or more clear, and ultimately less depressing and things like that, because God's way is the way to go.
Right.
But it's not necessarily always easier, and a lot of the right things to do are not really the easy things to do.
And then in sort of like another sense, like the walk of the narrow path itself, like you're going to endure judgment and criticism and things like that
by the people on the bigger
path.
path.
Right.
Yeah, because you're an oddball. Like, why do you think that you're different? You know what I mean? So like that in itself is a difficult thing.
Right.
Do you want to read?
Where are we at?
Right, 7:15.
Beware of false prophets, who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus you will recognize them by their fruits. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Well, I read that with the wrong enunciation.
but the one
who does
the will
of my Father who is in heaven.
Yeah. Okay. So good fruit, bad fruit. So
we are the tree, like people are
branches.
The branches. Yeah, we're not the branches, right?
Branches.
The branches. Yeah. And so as you make your heart changes and stuff, and start, changing the way you think about things for the better and following God, you're going to ultimately produce better fruits through your actions and your words and your things like that. And people will be able to notice and see like the difference in the way that you act, and that it's good fruit.
Yeah, and I like to think about your roots. If the roots of your tree are God, then the branch is going to be healthy, and the fruit that it bears is going to be healthy. If the roots that you're plugged into are money or fame or sex or worldly whatever, you're not going to bear good fruit because you're not going to be a healthy branch. So if your heart is healthy, good things will spring out of that. So what kinds of things are showing in your life? Are people being helped? Are people being shown love? Are you making the world a better place? Or are you kind of just making it better for yourself? Or is bad things coming from your actions for other people to benefit yourself? You have to think about that kind of thing, and it's super important. So I love those verses. It's always good to think about what kind of fruit that you're bearing in your life. And if it's not the type of fruit that you want to bear, then you have to plug in to God and focus on God. And there are many times where I got to check the fruit in my life. I'm not perfect in that sense at all, but when I do keep track of what my heart is on, that makes a big change in everything else that's going on in my life.
Right. Indeed. And then you will finish out?
Sure. On that day, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many mighty works in your name? And then will I declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. I don't want to be in that category. I don't know what else to say there other than wow. And I don't want that to be me.
No.
Not
at all.
You don't want that to be you either. So that's a heavy verse, but very much worth considering seriously.
Indeed.
Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. Once again, is your house founded on Jesus? Is your house founded on God? There was a time where we were having a rough week, and my fiance wrote on my bathroom mirror with a erasable marker this verse, and the rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And it didn't. And everything is going well, and God knows what he's doing. So when you're founded on that rock, and there's deeper implications along with that, I believe, but
it's the same thing as what you were talking about with the roots, pretty much, but just different imagery.
So very good chapter. Okay, so then, and everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand, and the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. And when Jesus finished these sayings, the crowds were astonished at his teaching, for he was teaching them as one who had authority and not as their scribes. So that authority there is super cool, and he does have authority. And that finishes out chapter 7. There's kind of a lot there to think about. Do you have anything else to say?
No, not really. I mean, for me personally, I kind of like rereading these verses in these chapters and stuff to kind of remind myself and like keep on top of keeping in check who I am as a person.
Yeah.
And like where my roots planted.
Yeah, and you don't make yourself a good person by doing anything to yourself. You make that change by seeking God, chasing him instead of things of the world, and he changes the hearts of man. You know what I mean? There's a sneeze coming. My brother's senses are tingling. Avoid it. It's going to be one of those. Anyways, we love you guys. This is a pretty heavy chapter, and we moved through it fairly quick here, I would say. But I've got to get off to work here pretty soon, so I hope
off to see the children.
Yeah, go take care of some children, and so that's part of why we kept it so brief. But I felt like we
covered it.
We went through it, and
shorter than the last one.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about these verses. I always look, it means so much to us, and helps to motivate us. And yeah, you guys are awesome. I love you guys so much. You guys are like the most gracious audience. I get encouragement. I check my phone, and I've got all this encouraging stuff, and so many of you guys I know on a first name basis, and super cool. So thank you for that.
Indeed.
And hopefully tomorrow's kind of going to be an interesting day. So if we're not here tomorrow, then hopefully Thursday we'll be here. But we might be here.
We might be here.
We might. We have to see how tomorrow goes. But
yes.
We love you guys.
Yes.
Feel free to message us anytime. And
because we'll be up. We never sleep. Just kidding. That's false.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.